It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
It's always fun. I get a chuckle, when someone is wearing the Free Palestine shirt and the gay flag, and
it's like they would literally murder you, right?
So it's funny. I used to say that, hey, if you as a gay person would go to Gaza, they'd throw you off of tall buildings, right? Now they don't have any tall buildings left, so I don't.
When you mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Is that too soon? I'm sorry. Maybe you shouldn't kill Jews, stupid Muslims.
He's all really I like that.
Where was I?
Do you have a family member insisting that Charlie Kirk was a non-racist truth teller? Here's some evidence to help you start a productive conversation. In 2021, Kirk made a misleading video saying George Floyd's medical examiner said his death should be ruled an overdose. When AFP fact check corrected him, showing that in fact the medical examiner had determined Floyd's death was a homicide, Charlie Kirk updated his Facebook and YouTube posts, stating, "To be clear, Baker qualifies George Floyd's death as a homicide. We regret any confusion this post may have caused." Apparently, Charlie did not regret causing confusion 4 years later when he said,
according to the medical examiner, he was drug overdosing in real time. That it wasn't because of the police officer, Derek Chauvin, that put his knee on the neck.
Yeah, but he killed him,
Again, the county medical examiner disagrees.
Another of Kirk's more famous arguments was that black pilots can't be trusted. To prove this, Kirk told his audiences that United Airlines mandated that 50% of new hires be women or black.
What does that have to do with hiring?
Everything. DEI definitionally is that we will hire more of a race versus a different race. So, for example, United Airlines said that they want 50% of their new pilots to either be women or black.
He connected this fact to a dangerous lowering of standards.
Every time DEI is implemented, the lowering of standards occurs.
But United Airlines never put a 50% quota on minority hiring. Here's what the United Airlines CEO actually said.
We have committed that 50% of the class of the classes will be women or people of color.
50% of Flight Academy students were to be women or people of color. Flight Academy students are years away from being hired as pilots. And the presence of more women and people of color in the hiring pool has no bearing on hiring standards, which haven't been changed. Kirk regularly lied about things people said, about statistics, in order to make his arguments sound factual. And because his followers weren't fact-checking, their attitude in the wake of his death has become that anyone reading racism into his regular commentary on black people just can't handle the facts. But often, there were no facts at all. Kirk's lies were used to baselessly demean and attack people. And so, MAGA, that's why your non-MAGA friends are so upset. Just because something aligns with what we believe about a group of people doesn't make it a fact. This is a psychological problem we all face. So we all have to do a better job of arguing about the solutions to our problems based on facts from reputable pro-democracy sources. Consider Media Matters for America and their deeply resourced article, Turning Point USA's History of Racism and White Nationalist Ties. For over a decade, leaders in Kirk's Turning Point USA and at its college chapters have used racial slurs and made statements in support of white power. TPUSA chapters have invited white nationalists to speak at campuses. And Kirk himself was a champion of the racist Great Replacement conspiracy theory. There are over 70 incidents chronicled in the article for you and your friends to argue over endlessly. But the point is, there's no counter argument to be made. For each individual incident someone could argue isn't that bad, there's the reality of the undeniable pattern of racist speech and behavior. Combine that with all the lies and maybe a different understanding of Kirk is possible to emerge. So check out the Media Matters article and my article, Nobody Understands Charlie Kirk, both linked in the bio, and be sure to follow for more healthy information.
So pretty much, he made
information. Do you have a family member?
He made he got a lot of generous donations for being outspoken. And the crazy part is a lot of his talking points were arguing towards black people. Now, I'm going to skip ahead so I'm going to get to something else because I want to show something and I'm going to come back to these. But he never talked about issues with white people. He just wanted to say how bad black people are for the system and how bad the system has changed to help black people thrive in a community that he's saying that black people aren't thriving in. He doesn't want the system in place, so he's saying that's why let's get rid of DEI, because obviously it's not helping black people. Let's roll back Jim Crow, because obviously it's not helping black people. So let's get those things out of there. Let's get rid of Roe versus Wade, because it's not helping black families, because they're aborting babies at full term, whatever. He wants to he anything that has something to do with women, or black people in a whole, he was against, because he was a traditionalist. He wanted male-female relationships. He wanted a man to go to work, the woman to stay home and raise babies and be married and do nothing else. That's what he wanted. He wanted to get to that part of life. Black people were like that at one point in time. We seen The Color Purple. Y'all know how that goes. It wasn't that nice. They weren't living in great conditions. There was a family dynamic. There was more of a family dynamic. Yes, that's true. But that was at a time where black people really, really had to stick together. And of course, black people have lost their ways in some ways. In a lot of ways. But those are our problems. And those are ones we want to handle. We don't need Charlie Kirk to handle those problems for black people, because he never gave a solution to any problem in the black community. He only told us, oh, well, y'all black fathers don't never be in the... Okay.
Were the Charlie Kirk for black people?
There's no such thing as a Charlie Kirk for black people. No. Let me tell you why. Because I'm a black man that stopped looking at white people's problems and started looking at my people's problems. Charlie Kirk didn't look at his people's problem. He stayed looking at black people's problem as if we're the problem. We're not the problem. My problem with people seeing Kirk is like me. He ain't stood up to the white supremacists. He ain't stood up to the skinheads. I've been standing up to the negative elements in the detriment of black people. He ain't looked to white people and said, hey, we got a bunch of white kids shooting up schools. Say we got a bunch of white kids and they babies. We lead the nation in child pedophilia and molestation of children. Hey, man, we need that Epstein list out. They say the president's name is on that list. He ain't doing that to his people. He was a talking point who spread a lot of misinformation, almost the borderline of lying.
Yeah. That's the thing. When I do stuff in my community, we do stuff with, in urban areas. I do. And an organization that I line myself with. I find it crazy that somebody who will not go into none of these areas and help none of these people has so much to say about our community. When we have enough people, do we need more? Yes. Do we all agree? Not all agree, but to some extent, seeing what's going on in Memphis and Chicago probably needs to be done? Yes, a lot of us agree with that. A lot of us disagree, but overall, we have to see the long-term effects of what's happening in Chicago and Memphis. Will the crime rate drop? We do know incarceration just went up, but will the crime rates drop? And that's what the problem is. Can some of these crime-filled areas get better with what's going on in Memphis and Chicago? I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people, even including mothers, single mothers and children, and grandmothers and grandparents. I'm sure they would like to have safer streets. I would love for my grandmother to have a safe street if my grandmother was in a terrible neighborhood. So when it comes to fixing our problems, socially, like fathers not being there for their children. You can't fix every man just by your talking points. But you can put programs in place for men to get custody rights for their children. That's an issue in the black community. You could put you can make housing, some type of housing plan for men, because most men who are felons, who have 5 or 6 kids on child support, now they living with their nephews and cousins, and most people, it's hard for a person to live alone because of the high cost of things. And that's a black people problem. That's a education problem. That's a job problem. The job market is terrible. And then you take away DEI, where a black man could have got a job, but no, he didn't. He wasn't qualified, so he didn't get the job. Now he has to. You know what gets me? I go in places, mind you, I'm a felon, and I go in places and I see people who work minimized jobs, and nothing wrong with it. But as a 40-year-old man, there are some jobs that I just couldn't see myself doing because economically it wouldn't fulfill my purpose with me and my children. So I don't see how people take these jobs. And I'd be like, damn, bro, you need to get a better job. So I wouldn't take these, $15 an hour jobs, $17. I couldn't take it. I couldn't live off of that right now. So those are black people's problems, and those are issues that we can solve. We have programs. We have people we could talk to. Charlie Kirk was not one of them, but he always had something to say about the black community, but never had a solution.